The Coop. What it is, why it's needed, and how to pay for it. It would be difficult to find an individual who has not heard about the value of the arts. In education, we talk about how the arts stimulate learning and improve overall academic performance. There is a powerful relationship between knowledge of the arts and success in scientific endeavors. The arts teach important skills that prepare the whole person for continued learning and later life. Empathy, compassion, and cultural understanding are also valued benefits of arts education. In our civic lives, we talk about how American culture incorporates the heritage of many people and thereby provides a unique context for multicultural understanding. The arts provide new opportunities for economically disadvantaged individuals. The arts have an unparalleled ability to cross the national boundaries imposed by language and contrasting cultures, helping to establish a peaceful and stable world through a shared understanding of cultures around the globe. But the message is not as clear when we talk about the economic value of the arts. People have a tendency to stop listening once the dirty words of the arts are talked about in mixed company. Words like public funding and taxes. Folks need to start hearing and understanding that the arts are an excellent investment for the benefit of our entire economic biosphere. Here are some words and numbers everyone should hear. Number 1. In 2017, the arts had an overall economic impact of $166 billion in the U.S. Number 2. Nonprofit arts and culture organizations are businesses. They employ people locally, purchase goods and services from within the community, are members of their chambers of commerce, and attract tourists to their regions. Number 3. The arts drive commerce to local businesses. The arts, unlike most industries, leverage significant amounts of event-related spending by their audiences. In 2017, arts attendees spent $102.5 billion, or an additional $31.47 per person per event, beyond the cost of admission on items such as meals, parking, and lodging. Vital income for local businesses. Number 4. Arts travelers are ideal tourists. They stay longer and spend more to seek out authentic cultural experiences. 1/3 of the attendees travel from outside the county in which the activity takes place and spend an average of $48 per person. 69% say they traveled specifically to attend the activity. Number 5. Small investments, big returns. In 2017, the combined $5 billion in direct arts funding by local, state, and federal governments yielded $27.5 billion in government revenue, meaning every tax dollar invested generated $5.50 in return. Bottom line, any local investment in the arts has an extremely positive impact on the economic health of the community, which is one reason why Charlotte's investment in the Coop makes a great deal of economic and social sense. What is the Coop? The Coop is a gathering, educational, and presentation space designed specifically to address the artistic needs of small arts organizations and individual artists and the cultural needs of the community. It is a fully collaborative creative space designed with the intent of providing every small arts organization and individual artist the opportunity and means for artistic expression, while eliminating financial barriers. Additionally, it is a community educational and presentational space where all are welcome to attend events with numerous price points, including no-cost options being available for all events. Why do we need the Coop? For the artists and organizations, it provides much-needed space. The lack of space for community creatives has been an ongoing issue for decades, and the Coop provides that much-needed space. In addition to 4 flexible performance spaces, more importantly, the Coop also has the oft-overlooked support space. Offices, classrooms, rehearsal halls, construction workshop, and storage space. These types of spaces will prove monumental to the creation of new organizations and artists, allow for product improvement and organizational growth. For those visiting the Coop, it provides a positive, safe, and comfortable place to gather and take part in any number of cultural offerings. It is a space that everyone can immediately have a sense of place and belonging. And because of the unique mission of the Coop, visitors will have opportunities on any given day to experience numerous types of artistic offerings. The Coop will also be a vibrant, exciting catalyst for economic growth. The arts historically positively transform the areas in which they reside. The Coop will attract local businesses, restaurants, bars, retail, and housing options, to name a few. And the Coop will be a place the whole area will be proud of. With nothing else quite like it in the country, it will become a focal point for tourism, businesses looking to relocate to the Charlotte region, and a model of artistic and cultural excellence envied and studied by cities and cultural leaders from across the country and world. How does the Coop work? Artists and small arts organizations are constantly doing one or more of the following: creating art, presenting art, learning art, and teaching art. If the creatives are operating in cultural silos, they all face similar challenges related to space, rising supply costs, running a business, running a 501c3, advertising, keeping current with technology, etc. By combining the burden of operations under one roof, the Coop can leverage the power of social equity. And by harnessing the power of hundreds of creatives, we'll be able to provide artists and organizations the bandwidth to create, grow, and prosper. It will also be able to leverage grant and donated dollars to do much more than is currently possible. For example, if a small arts organization receives a $50,000 project-based grant, about half the grant is spent on artists and the company administration costs. Good investments with long-term impact. Dollars well spent. The other half is spent on rent and materials that are terrible use of funds. Because these groups and artists have no space, rent must be paid on construction, office, rehearsal, studio, and classroom space before they even come close to spending a sizable chunk on venue rental. Because they have no storage space, the set is broken down and trashed along with the props. Rental fees are always lost money. Furniture and wardrobe will go to Goodwill, and the advertising budget is too low to offer any real benefit. Money spent and lost. If there was a way to store what was purchased and created along with low to no cost venue space, that $50,000 grant could go on to provide support to dozens of other artists and organizations. Those rental and production costs, leveraged through the Coop, would have the potential to hire half an FTE. Sponsored dance lessons for 10 kids, instruments to a community band, purchased paints, clay, building materials, paid utility bills, bought copier paper, toilet paper, cleaning supplies, and so on. The big question is, of course, how is it funded and maintained after it opens? Make no mistake, it will be pricey, and it will depend on considerable buy-in from the city and county. But if a few concessions are considered, it could be done fairly easily. The land it sits on would have to be donated. A perfect location right now is Eastland Yards. It answers long-neglected needs of creatives and the residents long starved for artistic and cultural events. It settles what to do with a portion of remaining land at Eastland Yards. It will successfully serve the entire community and spur economic growth and jobs creation in the area. The funds would come from the following sources and opportunities. Number 1. At last count, there was $22 million unaccounted for in the local visitor and tourism tax income box. It should be used to build the Coop. And speaking of the tourism tax, It is long past due that the arts receive a sizable share of that income. The arts are a driving force behind the tax and contribute heavily to the substantial amount of tax funds being brought in. A yearly portion should go to the infusion fund and a portion to the Coop. The allocation of these tax dollars must be re-examined and used in a way that benefits hundreds of thousands more community members than it currently does. Number 2. Governor Cooper recently signed into law HB 347, allowing online and retail sports betting. This will be an additional line of revenue for our sports organizations expected to be in the millions of dollars per year. The sports organizations should receive less funding from the tourism tax in relation to the amounts they will be making in sports betting. If the Hornets make $10 million in sports betting revenue, they should receive $10 million less from the tourism tax. Number 3. The Coop will be a revenue-generating nonprofit. From retail space to leases and rentals, along with the food and beverage income, the Coop will earn more than 3/4 of the yearly income needed for sustained operations, the other quarter coming from the infusion fund, or, better yet, all of it coming from the tourism tax. Number 4. Either way, the Coop will actually lessen the amount of funds needed from the infusion fund, not add to the burden of raising funds for it. No other organization can say that. If the infusion fund spent the same approximately $1.6 million on the Coop as it did on grants to roughly 50 small arts organizations and individuals, it would have served hundreds of artists and organizations and hundreds of thousands of community members without an increase in the amount allocated. The Coop is the future for small arts organizations and individual artists. When successful, it will be a model for the entire country to emulate.